I mentioned to you guys the other day that we have a hamper that we put all the towels in. Sometimes I put some of my clothes in here because I don't have my own hamper. Everybody else in this house has their own hamper. Um, and they seem to bring it downstairs and leave their hamper forever. But, yeah, so this is our towel hamper. It's a pop-up hamper. And we wait until the towels dry and then put them all in here. And then my husband brings this down, leaves it for me so I can wash all the towels. So, of course, you guys have seen the washer and dryer here before. And so, yeah. He brought them down. I really didn't feel like doing them today, but I am going to start one load and just go from there, right? I am not feeling, the best right now, with, we'll just say ladies' problems. I'll try to be nice about it. And, so I just took some pain pills, and so we'll see how I feel. So, I'm going to put a pretty big scoop, because I'll probably do a pretty big load of towels, because, it doesn't matter how many towels I buy at all. We are always, I guess the more I buy, the longer it takes for my husband to bring them down, which I guess is good for me. So I do mix all of them except for typically whites, which I just threw in. I try not to throw whites in. Like, I have pure white towels is what I mean. But the rest I don't mind mixing. So this big one is actually a beach towel. But, again, when you're oversized, beach towels come in handy. And it actually makes you feel thinner when you use a beach towel, because typically the beach towel is still going to be too big to go. Like, it's going to go around you, but it's going to be more material, so it's going to seem like it's too big. Like, if you put a shirt on and it's like hanging off you and it's too big. So that's what a beach towel makes you feel. Feels like you lost weight. I mean, it's not a lie, so, at least not in my case, so, but yeah, I like using my beach towels. So that was my load. So he will do like 3 towels at a time, and it drives me crazy. Or he or my kids will overload everything and put every piece of towel or clothing in the washer. And then, of course, as we know, it doesn't get clean. So, but I'm pretty good at, typically, I think I did put actually too many in my washer this time. So I can't really talk. Typically I don't. And, but yeah, so they like to usually overload. And then, as we know, ladies, things don't get clean if we overload the washer. I mean, do they really get clean if they're stuffed in there so tight? So, yeah. And guess what? I just put it back on my couch. I got it empty pretty much yesterday. What's on the couch? And the problem was that was the load that I did yesterday. So that was me. I did put them on the couch because they were on top of the detergent, and I couldn't get to it to start the laundry. So, so I put them there. So this time it is my fault. So yeah. That is the towels. I just wanted to show you what we do in my house. So yeah, the only problem is that the towel hamper stays upstairs, and it stays in front of my closet where my clothes are supposed to be. Why is that? Because my husband doesn't shut his side of the closet, and he seems to think everything's supposed to be on my side of the closet, and so I can't open my closet, obviously, which is really annoying. So I kind of live off the piles that we get going in my room, like, you know, and my kids don't hang up their clothes. I have to hang them up. Now my oldest has his own room now, so what he does with his is up to him. But yeah, so I have to, I don't know. Actually, I haven't been hanging up anyone's clothes except for mine, and that's iffy. Actually, I haven't even been hanging mine up, but at least, like, mine is my responsibility, right? My kids are just, jerks who do nothing. No, they do, but they don't hang up clothes. My youngest, the problem is, my youngest I babied. You know, I'm not the best parent. I'm far from it. And I will be the first one to admit that. Like, I screwed up. You know, it didn't come with, you know, instructions, as we know. And, you know, if you don't have kids, it's okay to be your kids' friends, but don't be their best friends. Speaking from experience, because it does not always work out wonderfully. Everything's falling in my kitchen. Sorry, guys. So yeah, don't be their best friend. You can be their friend, just don't be their best friend. I had two parents that were totally opposite. I wasn't raised with my dad, except for like a year of my life, but he was in my life, if that makes sense. And he was the strict parent. He was so strict. He also had been in Vietnam, and he had a lot of flashbacks, which he took out on me and probably the rest of the town, honestly. Taking my vitamin D, don't forget it. Anyway, yeah. So, he was always angry. And I know this has nothing to do with laundry, guys. You know me. He was always angry, and he would take his anger out on people. And imagine, and some of you maybe grew up getting the belt when you were younger. But imagine, at that time, a 6-year-old. So if you have any kids or know any kids, imagine a 6-year-old and a guy who was angry because she got a D on her report card. And at that point, he might have been 300 to 400 pounds. And then he gets his belt. Instead of calming down first, he puts 2 and 2 together. And you can imagine that does not turn out well. I have literally been hit with the belt so hard I actually couldn't sit down. So I had that parent who was, you know, mad if I got a D, mad if I looked the wrong way. And then I had my mom, who she's my best friend. I'm not saying I didn't get in trouble, obviously. But she babied me. She was not strict. Did I have to learn some lessons? Of course. We all do. Right? Um, but she always let me think for myself. She always let me make my own decisions. Like, we don't agree on everything. Definitely. Um, in life. We definitely, there's one subject that we don't agree on, definitely. And probably more than one. Um, but she didn't, like, beat me over the head trying to make me think like her. She let me make my own choices. Um, she let me have life experience and learn things that I needed to learn. But she never, she didn't whip me. She didn't, like, get disappointed if I got a D. I was the one that got disappointed. Um, of course she worried about me. She cared about me. So we were friends. She was a mother, I guess, when she needed to be, I guess. Uh, meaning, like, talking to me and things like that. So for me, that's how I parented my kids. Um, I wanted my kids to learn, hands-on, real life learn. And I was, pretty easy parent. I was very too easy with the problem. Now, with my one, so far, it's been good. The other one, I don't know. But I did try. I have tried, and I'm still trying. Just because my one is older and technically a grown-up doesn't mean I'm not trying. Um, he still has a lot to learn. Anyway, so yeah. Um, that is how I parented, and honestly, I forget where that was going. But I guess maybe you learned something new from me, or don't learn something new. I'm not sure how to say that. Or maybe don't be like me. But I'm happy, like, I will admit I wasn't probably the best parent. I let my kids get away with quite a bit. My husband's a strict parent, but he would react when he was angry. And scream and shout. And because he wasn't around, even when he could be around, he chose not to be around. So I always felt like the kids were my kids. And so, yeah, I would get upset when he would try to finally speak up after years of not doing anything or helping out or anything like that. So I was very protective of my kids. And obviously as a mom. So I didn't, and like I said, instead of calming down and then talking, he reacts. So, and I think a lot of people do, I hate to say. I mean, that's something you really have to train yourself, is to calm down and then come back and talk about it, right? Because I think it's everybody, I mean, unless you're very, very practiced with calm, and life isn't calm, right? So, I think a lot of people react, and I know that's not a good thing. I've reacted. I react. I still react. Not like my husband. um, mm. Yeah, it's diet. No, diet's not good for you, but it is what it is. And yeah, so that's my parenting and my laundry and my diet. Yes, diet, Mountain Dew, which I will tell you, since I talk about 50 different things, it's great. And my friend turned me on to it. I didn't have anything against Mountain Dew, but my stomach sure does, or my intestines. And the Diet Mountain Dew, just to let you guys know, I don't have any problems with. So I don't know what's in the regular compared to this one. But my intestines do fine with the Diet Mountain Dew. So if you like Mountain Dew, try it out. Talk to you guys later. Bye.